the end. So we'll go ahead and dive right into things. Like I said, starting off with just a little bit of why we started Look Local First. So VisiPay, when we look at things, we actually have 3 whys that is really, the whys are behind just about every decision that's made here. So our 3 whys are culture, transparency, and then being the voice of small business owners. So culture, transparency, those kind of play into a lot of other decisions, but the why that's really behind Look Local First is being the voice for small business owners. We want to stand up for that small business owner community and really help show them that they do have people who are looking out for their back, and hopefully as well give a much larger voice to small business owners. Each and every one of them has, a little bit of a voice, and we really want to amplify that as much as possible. So when it comes to being the voice of small business owners and Look Local First, we launched Look Local First in 2017, we launched VisiPay in 2017. We launched Look Local First in the summer of 2019. So we had been working with business owners specifically for a few years and had really seen, the ins and outs of how, unfortunately, the small business owner community especially can get taken advantage of by our industry or others. And we really wanted to have some way that we could look out for small business owners or even benefit them, even if it's not with processing. So we really try and keep them, separate to a certain extent. Obviously, Look Local First is a great marketing tool when it comes to transitioning into processing, but from a marketing team perspective and their, voice and what they're really spreading from these respective entities, if you will, we try to keep Look Local First and VisiPay separate. So Look Local First is primarily backed by our marketing team, though it's really a group effort and a social media campaign, if you will, really advocating for business owners. It is a lot of the content, a lot of the actual meat and potatoes to what this is backed by a marketing team. So they're experts at what they do, and really share a lot of that in a lot of the content, which I'll touch on here in a second. So when we're looking at Look Local First, we really have 2 different target groups, if you will. When we're promoting from a social media standpoint, a lot of this does live on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook, places that, a huge array of people live on. We target 2 different groups: small business owners, specifically one highlighting small business owners, encouraging or inspiring, giving them some tips and tricks, things like that. And then we also target just general community. Not everybody owns a small business, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a huge small business supporter or advocate or, really be able to learn more from the experience of small business owners and how to better serve them, even if it's not spending money. We actually talk a lot about how you can support small business owners without spending a dime. So we kind of have those 2 different target markets that we hit with a lot of the different content that we push out. So on social media, we share a variety of different things. Sometimes it's just, highlighting, messaging, specifically small business content or spotlights. So these 3 are all different spotlights that we've done, really showcasing specific businesses. And then we also do a lot of actual tips and tricks or statistics. Graphics that are really showing, like this top corner here is specifically talking about how to best set up your Instagram business page and things like that. So to really highlight more specifics. We also do a lot of, especially around the holidays is usually when it picks up, but we do some different giveaways to, again, kind of highlight specific businesses and then also engage that supporter base that we're building as well. On a larger part of the education piece, our team also puts together a blog specifically targeting, again, small business owners. Sometimes it's targeting that consumer or supporter base. A lot of times the blogs are more specifically targeted at the business owners. So tips, tricks, a lot of them will surround, sometimes it's things like gift cards, why they're really important for small businesses. This was one I believe we did in November or December. So kind of that holiday time of year where gift cards make a huge impact for businesses. Marketing is a big, again, gotta think that a lot of our content's backed by our marketing team. So they're experts at what they do, very, very good at it. So they share a lot of their knowledge in those blogs and help business owners who, might not have the time or energy or, expertise to really have strengths in that area. We also have our Look Local First brand merchandise. So we have everything from stickers, shirts. I'm wearing one. I think this is one of the older shirts that we've had. I think I've had it for several years now. But we have several different shirts, hats, koozies, cups, all sorts of different things, really branded with Look Local First. Now, the great thing about any merchandise that is sold via our website is that all of the proceeds or any profits, typically it's marked just barely above cost. So any profits that are made actually go back specifically into advertisements that we do in different areas promoting small businesses. So we, have, again, usually it lives on social media, different targeted ads that are going to specifically be out there in front of people who, will be supporting the small businesses in their community. So really encouraging that message. A big part of what kind of inspired very early on the kind of beginning processes of Look Local First is the Shop Small Saturday. So American Express started Shop Small Saturday several years ago. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and they really encourage people to go out and support small businesses that day. We wanted a way that we could have, support for small businesses year round. So we do those different targeted advertisements in areas and metros and, rural areas, everywhere in between, to really encourage that small business support year round. So we use any proceeds to fund those advertisements. So the really important stuff, what can Look Local First do for you? So I think a big part of this is something that people really miss the value sometimes, but being able to set yourself apart from the competition is very important in this industry. It doesn't always mean that you have some crazy technology that's way better than everybody else. Sometimes it's just something that is intangible value proposition, or something that makes you stick out amongst the rest. It might not even be something that actually benefits them. It just makes you more memorable or makes a more specific impact in what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that's how Look Local First can really, really benefit you. So it creates a cause around why you're working with small business owners and what you want to do to help them. You're a part of the small business owner community. You are here to help small businesses. You're here to educate them on payment processing. You're really here to help them and their business thrive. And Look Local First is the kind of messaging or the branding that you can build surrounding that, that you are really trying to support a larger cause here. It also works as a great marketing opportunity. Take it from somebody who has tried many times to make credit card processing the most interesting and marketable thing in the world. It's difficult. It's not very fun. Think of, we'll specifically talk about social media. So let's say you're trying to really engage your community. You're posting on social media. It's the cheapest form of advertisement, right? It reaches hundreds or thousands of people and it costs you no money, just a little bit of time to share things on social media. So it's great marketing, but doing that constantly posting about, VisiPay, credit card processing, cash discount, it's not very engaging stuff. People might be a little curious, like, hey, you've got an adventure started, or hey, I see you're, getting really successful with this business and things like that. But ultimately the actual credit card processing isn't super fun to follow. So how can you be more engaging with your community and, get in touch more with those individuals who you eventually want to reach? Because even if not everybody owns a business, everybody shops with them, and most people know business owners in some way, sense, or form. So getting just your name out there in general is sometimes very beneficial. So this is a great way that you can do that, and it's actually engaging to follow. Talking about the businesses that you work with, talking about the small business owner community or the things that are going on in your community, sharing things like the farmers market or a chamber of commerce event or whatever it might be, a new grand opening of a business, even if they're not working with you. Some of that stuff just really starts to brand you as a core member of that business community in your area. So it helps you kind of get that more name and brand recognition that might not pay off right now, this exact second, but the more consistent you are with it and the more you do it and the more engaging you are, people will start to recognize you as a part of that community. And then when you're going and you're talking to business owners, they're already going to have that name recognition, or at least you'll already kind of have some of that impact built. It's also on a more short-term or instant gratification benefit. Building that social media buzz takes a little bit of time. That's not going to happen overnight. But it is really impactful when you're going in and you're prospecting. So you're going out there, you're introducing yourself to business owners, immediately knocking on doors and talking about credit card processing typically doesn't really get you a whole lot of excitement. But going in and introducing Look Local First, maybe giving them a sticker that they could put on their window or door or whatever might work, branding them as a local business, some of that can help get the conversation started. So it's really going to allow you to engage with those individuals on something where you're not immediately asking for their business. So a big part of selling or prospecting or anything is building a bridge of trust between you and the person you're trying to sell to. You gotta build that trust. And typically, if you've never talked with them before, a lot of people are apprehensive to immediately trust a salesperson. So this is a way that you can have a value proposition. You can offer them something, some support, some encouragement, some education or tips and tricks, things like that. And you're not asking them to buy from you. So you're extending that olive branch, if you will, and therefore are going to be a little bit more successful when you do start making that transition and talking about how you can actually help their business from a partner or vendor standpoint. So that's where, of course, Look Local First is great. It's a great way to engage your community, engage the business owner community, and introduce yourself to business owners. But ultimately, Look Local First doesn't pay the bills, right? I would love if it did. It would make my job a heck of a lot easier if I could just go out and talk about Look Local First and money came in. But that's just not the way the world works. So we have to transition to VisiPay. And we have to actually transition to maybe not VisiPay, but specifically processing. So depending on how you want to brand that, you can talk about, again, I refer to it as a chicken and egg conversation. So which one came first? Ultimately, VisiPay came first, right? We started Look Local First, not the other way around. So this gives us, it kind of circles actually way back to that why that I first talked about. You can actually talk about why we started Look Local First, why you believe so much in the community or the small businesses in your community, and why Look Local First was founded, why you promote it so much, and why you're really spreading this message. So going back to talk about that kind of founding story and why part of things, you can talk about why, I'm partnered with this company, VisiPay. They've been working with small businesses since 2017. I joined in 2020, and it was a nightmare. Seeing what small businesses had gone through, and I really bought into this why of theirs of supporting small businesses and being an advocate for small business owners. And that's what Look Local First does, and that's why I really wanted to introduce you to that first. But what we do as a company and what I'm here for is to be a business partner. We do credit card processing. So we work with small business owners like you every day to help you better understand payment processing. There's lots of confusing education pieces and signals coming at you from all different directions in today's day and age when it comes to payment processing. But I'm here to hopefully be a one-on-one person that can actually be here with you in your business and help you better understand that. So if you would be interested, I'd happily talk to you about that and how I can really add value to your business from a money standpoint, hopefully saving you some money and definitely providing you a little bit better understanding of where your money goes when you pay for payments or pay for processing. But again, I was really here to talk about Look Local First, being a small business owner myself, and connecting with you and really wanting to relate to you on that was my main goal, number one. But of course, that doesn't pay the bills. So I wanted to, drop a little bit about VisiPay and how I can help you with payments as well, if you would ever be interested. And you can leave it at that. Maybe they're interested, maybe they're not. you can move from there into, if you were ever interested, a big thing that I like to do is a competitor analysis. So I can offer just, take a look at your statement. We can go through and just show you a little bit of what's currently on your statement, what you're paying, why you're paying it, and break down some of those costs for you. Then I can also show you some other options that might be out there on the table. There's different programs out there that can really help benefit you when it comes to saving money on processing as well. So you want this to be, obviously I just rambled a little bit in that pitch. You want it to be as conversational as possible, asking questions. I see sometimes you can recognize from the point of sale system after you've been at it for a while. Sometimes that's not always a guarantee. You can say, it looks like you have such and such terminal. I've heard of them. Is that which processor are you going through? Do you know off the top of your head? How long have you been with your current processor? Things like that. You can ask open-ended questions to get them to start talking about their current processing and really start to move into transitioning more and more into how you can be of service and how you can help them better understand, or really inching towards that competitive analysis factor is what we're trying to do. But to make that transition, really talk about why Look Local First is such a big deal, why you push it so much, why you wanted to introduce the business owner to it, and showing them the reasoning behind it. If you just go out and you give people a bunch of LLF stickers and say support small businesses, you're not really explaining why you believe in small business owners so much, that you work with them, that's your livelihood, that's how you put food on the table. A lot of business owners will relate to that. They put food on the table by running their business. You put food on the table by running yours. So connect with them on that level. And that's where you can really start to build the bridge of trust even more significantly. We stand in similar shoes. Your job is to help them grow their business. That's your business. That's what you work in. You can help them, better benefit their business, and the more they grow, the more you grow. It's a mutual relationship. It's a mutually beneficial relationship is what you're trying to really establish. It helps make that easier introducing it with Look Local First, because like I said, when you make that first introduction and it's a value that you're adding to them without asking for any type of sale or business or money, you're going to have a lot more of that trust kind of brewing, and then building the relationship on the fact that, again, you guys sit in similar shoes and are both part of that business owner community in just a little bit different scenario. And then the last thing that I wanted to land on, and this seems a little funky, but I promise there's a reason that I have. My friend Teresa is actually, who, and I realized I didn't mark off all of her name. But so I borrowed her page. She's an insurance agent and a close friend of mine. They actually work across the road from our BusyPay office. So she started not all too long ago, I don't believe, she started a business page for herself. So we're actually friends on Facebook, and I'm using this as a small example, but I've talked to a lot of people when it comes to promoting Look Local First or using social media to really get your imaging, your branding, your name out there and get that growing, and they don't know where to start. So I just wanted to show a real quick kind of example of how you can do that. Now, some people are 100% on board to post about Look Local First and BusyPay and how they're helping small businesses from their personal page, and that is perfectly okay. I post a lot of stuff from my personal page, and it goes over fantastic. Other people want to keep it completely separate. They don't necessarily want to. They want to make their personal page as private as possible, friends and family only, or don't necessarily want a personal page at all. That's okay too. And that's where you can go, and rather than making a personal profile or doing this from your personal profile, you can create a page. So a page is very easy. Basically, you're going to go on Facebook, go to pages, and you can create whatever you want to call it. You can call it Elizabeth Rucker, your small business advocate. You can call it Elizabeth Rucker, your payment processing partner. You can just call it Elizabeth Rucker. And what people can do is they can go like and follow your page, and you can put your contact information if you, like Teresa, for example. I'm just gonna keep picking on her. I whited them out to to save her the trouble of getting a bunch of random calls and emails. But she has her cell phone number, her email up here, and then she has, the company that she works for. So very specific information and a little blurb about what she does. And then she posts regularly about the programs that she offers, she's in insurance, so not the exact same industry. But the programs that she offers, successes of people that she's worked with, big changes in her industry. The fall was a really big time for them, so she was posting a lot then, things like that. So you can do the same thing. This is a great way where, again, Look Local First is a lot more interesting to follow than processing specifically. Again, I would mix in a little bit of both, but Look Local First gets a little bit more traction from gotta remember, kind of look at it from the reader's perspective. But other things that you can do if you want to, this is absolutely not a requirement, and I want to make that very clear, you do not have to go out and do this. But it is an option if you would like to. But you can also, when you bring on a new merchant, you can welcome them to your family. This, Sally Swan just joined, Elizabeth Rucker's payment processing, however you want to brand that. But you can welcome people to, your business. You can just share your business journey, talking about the struggles, the headaches. And sometimes vulnerability goes a long way. I had a really busy day of going out and meeting with new business owners, met tons and tons of people. It's a freezing day here in Iowa. How's everybody's business with this type of weather? It doesn't always have to be, super uptight and put on a big front. You can be very vulnerable. It's your page. You can obviously promote your services and then also share community events. Like I said, going back to sharing chamber events that are going on, new businesses that are opening, community events that you or members of the community might be going to and might be interested in. Things like that to really kind of start to, again, the more that you can brand yourself as a part of that business owner community, the better off you're going to be, and really get involved so people recognize you as that, person. So just a couple of things. Again, this is definitely not a requirement. I just kind of wanted to show you an option if you wanted to be a part of that social media reach without using your own personal, Facebook page, for example. You also don't have to do that at all. Social media is definitely not a requirement, and a lot of people are really successful without it. It's just very, very good free advertising if you're wanting to put that time in. And then lastly, I put all of the links to Look Local First in here. So website, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. We are on all of the above, constantly pushing out, again, that content, talking about Look Local First, talking about the small businesses that we work with, education, blogs, all types of things like that. If you are wanting to really start to share more Look Local First stuff from a social media perspective, the easiest way to do it is to, I do this all the time. I do it really heavily on LinkedIn. I'll go and I'll create the Look Local First Facebook page. I'll find some posts that I think are really interesting. I'll save the pictures, take some notes on the caption, then go post it for my own page. You don't necessarily have to, sometimes you can just reshare that. Sometimes you can actually go and take some of their, content and really put it to use from your page is a really great way to do that as well. That is going to wrap us up for my presentation. So I want to go